people, I've been in my study lately trying to understand these corporate laws. It's literally the last piece of my puzzle. I understand the origins of religion, the war in heaven, and how we were trapped here, how they was able to brainwash us by telling us half-truths that cause a change of our perspective, so we end up taking the wrong paths. So with the law, they do the same. They place us into servitude, but leave loopholes allowing us to be free. But again, they change our perspective, so we end up deciding to take their chosen path. Now I'm about to talk about a few topics that should have been the first things we learned in the education system. I'm going to start by saying we all have free will. We can choose what, when, or where we want to do things without any governance, meaning we don't need the government. There's literally only two documents that pertain to us, which is our real universal laws, not their administrative policies, which is enforced by the policy man and their system. They all sign contracts, which is oaths to protect their system. If you pay attention to enforcement officer cars, most of them say policy, but there's very few that says law. So you can see with your own eyes this lie that we've been living. So no, they're enforcing policy, not the law. For instance, it's illegal for a corporation to press any charges on a living being. So how is it possible somebody get arrested over a traffic violation when there is no laws broken? This is why you be seeing in videos people saying, what is your take or reason of suspecting me of committing a crime? So in all reality, these people getting arrested is really being kidnapped, then coerced to sign contracts further enslaving them because they don't understand this beast system. So there's really only two documents that describes the real universal laws that we all have to follow, including them, and that is the Constitution and the Magna Carta. Also, we do have a right to separate from the church and the state. This means declaring yourself a soul in your vessel, which separates you from the straw man, meaning you can rescind all contract from the state, making you a free, sovereign individual. And trust me, I know you feel like you don't have to, but it is something that needs to be done. And this here is the most important information of all. Man is the sole creditor of all commerce. So check it, y'all see what this says, right? How do I get a social security number? This right here is proof of a 5-letter word starting with an F. This is how they enslaved us. And they feel like they can do this to us because we are alien. Like I said before, they feel as though they own our vessel. Since they created them, we are the Nephilim, which means reanimated body. These bodies are mainly composed of God DNA and the RT DNA. But it's really owned by God. That's why they try and take the name out of our DNA with a you-know-what. This is how we're going to have the ability to choose heaven or the underworld after the cycle ends. So this gives the entities from the underworld a chance to make it to heaven and allows heavenly entities to be taken to the underworld. So racism specifically existed to get God's image to turn to theirs. But the main point of placing us in the Nephilim bodies was to hide all the different races here, and specifically to hide the gods. And that image is melanin, carbon, but all other races blends in. Also, another reason they do all caps is because God's name is supposed to be in caps. So we already know the all caps name is a straw man. So I'm sure y'all heard we all have some magical account that got millions upon millions of dollars in it. Because we do. We all got a social security number. The security is your Cestui QV trust. The social is like your social credit score. It's been here the whole time. You see why people live with bad credit? People talking about it's coming. No, it's already here. It can only get worse. That's all it is. So this is how they control your social life, by controlling your funds, which is your security. So we hear people say we pay for the city, state, and federal services and their buildings. We do, just not the way you think we do. The taxes they take out that we actually see is just the icing on the cake, literally. They really use all our money out of our Cestui QV trust, out of our pockets. When you hear people saying they paying for people on welfare, Section 8, all of the above, they're not. Those individuals is paying for them services theirself out of their trust. Their trustee is just making it seem as though that they're doing it because they're controlling their securities. Oh, what about child support? You think that's coming out of their pocket? It is. But it's coming out the trust also. We should not be paying any of this. And as long as we don't know, this is how they're double dipping, making us pay things twice and making us suffer for it. So one of these days soon, we all gonna wake up and realize we got way more power than we believe we have. Anyways, you guys, peace. Yo, so check it. The whole point of making the Cestui Q videos is to get y'all to understand that that is proof that there's a war in heaven and we are still currently in the battle for our souls. I mean, come on. They even named it Cestui QV of 1666, and we already know what that really is. God's image, basically mocking the enslavement of mankind. So when we fell in frequency during the war, the original man, which is God's image, and the Elohim, They are called the fallen angels. And also there was other beings that were sent down here and we was placed in Nephilim bodies, which includes human vessels. But the thing is, 60% of the people we see aren't even real. They're just here to influence your decisions. They have no soul and they're fueled by negative energy, meaning they're already dead. This is why they set it up like this, to force you to claim yourself as alive, because you may not have a soul inside your vessel. They even mention if you don't clear yourself alive by the age of 7, you're declared naturally dead. And if y'all didn't know, the first 7 years of your life creates your whole paradigm. So they're assuming they have your mind if your parents wasn't aware of anything that's actually happening. So I'm sure you heard the saying, they have to tell us what they're going to do before they do it, right? And the real reason for that is because we are the gods. As I mentioned before, all God's names supposed to be in all caps. This is why they stole our names and then capitalized it and created a trust in hopes of avoiding their karma. For creating this almost no choice Babylonian system. They give us a social security number, which is the trust, then tell us not to give it to anybody. But the problem is, damn near every place you go to needs it for some reason, and I wonder why. So when you give up that number, what are you doing? Just think about it. You are trusting them, making them the trustee. Their interest is to benefit you. But of course, we live in an upside down world, so they decide to benefit themselves. So if you watch my content, I'm sure you know how the way I describe how there's going to be a split of positive and negative energies. And everybody will call that the rapture. So we're POWs being held in middle ground. That's why we are alien. And they're trying to take their shared souls. Hence, taking God's image and turn it into theirs. This is why the straw man is considered a dead entity, and you're naturally dead by the age of 7, so they can take you during the rapture. This is why they continuously building society on top of society, to keep everybody asleep while they continuously building more societies. But this time, it's the metaverse. So if you don't wake up, it's the last call. You'll be trapped in the digital system forever. But anyways, y'all be gods. Peace.